It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. We'd appreciate it. Cost of living, as Gavin Newsom likes to say, is the original sin of the state of California. It is incredibly expensive to live here, and despite all the efforts of local and state government, it only gets more expensive to live here. And this is getting especially true in one of the most desirable places to live in Southern California, beautiful 10-lane freeway, lower crime, Orange County. A lot of people want to live in Orange County, but it is not cheap, and it is getting even more expensive. Let's find out what's going on. Here's NBC LA.
Diving deeper into the ways the economy is affecting your daily life. And in today's For Your Money, we're looking into housing prices. You see, the dream of owning a home in Orange County is getting harder and harder to reach now more than ever.
The California Association of Realtors found you have to make $350,000 a year in order to buy a medium-priced home in the county.
You got to make $350K to be a homeowner. That's the entry level. Holy cow.
And the median price here, we're talking nearly $1.4 million.
These numbers have skyrocketed just in the last 5 years. It's fascinating because so many people are leaving the state of California, but for reasons that we'll get into, the cost of a single-family home keeps going through the roof. Maybe because we're not building those anymore.
According to a UC Irvine poll, the high cost of living in Orange County has about half the people who live there thinking about leaving. NBC4's Hetty Chang spoke with a family who wants to stay.
Andrea Morris and Gregory Reneska love everything about living in Orange County.
So everything, just driving, living, existing, felt better here.
Yeah. Wow. The West Hollywood transplants moved to Aliso Viejo during the pandemic, and they say they can't imagine raising their 4-year-old son, Gregory Jr., anywhere else.
Yeah, you can't go back. You can't take someone that had bread and water and start giving them champagne and lobster and expect them to go back to that life. Yes, I'm comparing living in Orange County to living in Los Angeles by comparing bread to lobster. It's beautiful down there.
It didn't feel safe anymore. So we started looking at Orange County.
Why?
Because it's safe. It feels safe out here. The community, the grass, the parks.
There's not homeless everywhere.
The education system.
It comes at a price, though.
It does, definitely.
Tell me about that.
The cost of living, I think the cost of living is high anywhere, but it feels extraordinarily high here. Just the rent.
Oh, you're living in a very desirable part of Southern California. Unfortunately, it comes with a big price tag. But most people that live there will tell you it's worth it.
The rent.
Just the rent for Andrea and Gregory's 2-bedroom apartment is $3,200 a month.
Now they're trying to raise it to about $3,580 or whatever.
Oh, no. That's more than most people's mortgage, depending on when you bought and for how much.
The family is now moving to a less expensive apartment at the end of the month.
You consider car insurance, vehicle payments, electricity bill of $300 to $400 a month. You know that.
And all of those costs keep going up and up and up. Car insurance going up. No thanks in small part to Ricardo Lara. And energy bills going through the roof because SoCal Edison and PG&E still need to make a profit for their shareholders while burning down the state of California.
You know, that adds up.
The couple does digital marketing and creates children's songs and videos.
Wow. You cannot be making that much on that. Maybe they are. I mean, they're living in Irvine.
Wow. They say the business brings in enough to get by.
There have been times when we've looked at each other and like, okay, how are we going to make it this month?
But God is good.
Andrea and Gregory don't want to leave Orange County. They say the benefits of living here outweigh the pinch of the price of living here.
People tell us, plus, anytime that you drive to Los Angeles to visit your friends or relatives, you're reminded of what you left and what you're not going back to. And what's always fascinating is it's not like it's any cheaper in West Hollywood.
People tell us they don't want to leave.
The couple's sentiment reflects about half of those who live in Orange County, according to a UC Irvine poll by the School of Social Ecology last August. The other half, though, said they are potential leavers. Of 800 people surveyed, 31% say they are actively considering moving out of Orange County. And
So what, Riverside County? They're not moving to L.A. County. L.A. County's more dangerous and it's not cheaper.
And 17% say they're contemplating leaving. John Gould is the Dean of Social Ecology at UC Irvine.
If half of Orange County
Go Anteaters.
If half of Orange County residents are thinking about leaving, but they like living here, why is it? And it is the cost of living, hands down.
95% of those surveyed said the cost of housing is very important or somewhat important to why they've considered leaving Orange County.
And that really is. When we talk about affordability, that's the number one right there. It is very expensive to live anywhere in Southern California, especially Orange County.
Gold says the name of the survey, The Brain Drain of Orange County, comes from the concern that the county will start losing its workforce.
If we lose so much of our population, where are we going to get them from? We need to bring people in and get them acclimated to Orange County again. And then the other issue is who's going to replace them? Because what we may be losing are people who are middle class or lower. What will an Orange County look like that can't have firefighters to afford to live here, that can't have teachers or police officers who can afford to live here?
Isn't that what Santa Ana's for? Oh, that was mean. Even Santa Ana's nicer than parts of L.A. County.
What's an Orange County going to look like where the next generation who's been raised here can't live here?
Gold says that the results of the survey are not all gloom and doom because he says they point to one solution.
So the bright side is we can address the problem.
All right, we're going to address it. How do we address the incredibly difficult problem of it's so expensive to live in Orange County?
Gold says by building more affordable housing.
Oh, here we go. That term has become so loaded. Affordable housing. Because now you're talking about a very specific kind of housing. The one that gets all the kinds of tax benefits and bonuses from local electeds in places like LA County and San Diego County. I don't know if they're doing this in Orange County, but what ends up happening is affordable housing could mean subsidized housing for the homeless or housing that attracts a very specific part of the population that likes to live in an apartment that doesn't have parking.
Gold says by building more affordable housing, people will come and stay.
I think the future...
It's funny because, there's another place that's been booming over the last few years, a little place called Austin, Texas. And Austin used to be really weird, and now it's where all the tech people are going, and they got great food. I mean, come on. It's Texas. But Austin's got great food. They've got great jobs, but it has gotten very expensive to live there. But Texas does not have the California regulatory environment. So when they wanted to build more housing, they built more kinds of housing, all kinds of housing, not just quote unquote affordable housing. And they built so much that rents went down 20%. That's massive. Every single thing the state of California has done to increase the production of affordable housing has not lowered the cost of rent in anywhere. Not LA County, not Orange County, not Riverside.
And stay.
I think the future of housing, if we are able to build more housing, is going to be more densely packed housing, probably smaller square footage, and ideally located close to some sort of bus or tram or train line.
Okay, this guy's nuts. How exactly does that work anywhere, let alone Orange County or Los Angeles County?
If we're able to do that, I think we will see not only prices being more reasonable, but a quality of life that makes it possible for people to go to work, come home, go out and enjoy their lives without spending too much time in their commute.
See, here's the problem. People like this are the consultants that our governments listen to when they decide to give out nonstop permits for things like affordable housing developments with no parking because, you can take the metro.
For now, Gregory and Andrea will continue renting, but they hope they can one day own a home here.
Not unless one of your parents was rich and you didn't know it.
It's within our 5-year plan.
I do very well. My wife does even better. We couldn't buy the mediocre valley house that we have without help from her parents. That's how bad it is.
It's within our 5-year plan initially when we moved out here, but with the cost of
You better start writing some kids' songs, boys.
living increase,
gone to a 10-year plan.
A 10-year plan, yeah, exactly.
In Aliso Viejo,
Yeah, that's the dream. That's the goal.
Hetty Chang, NBC4 News.
And part of what makes, at least in my opinion, the prices of single-family homes go up and up and up and up and up every year is what maybe used to be considered a starter home. Maybe it's a 3-bedroom, maybe it's a small 4-bedroom, a 4-2, a 1-story house. These are not the houses that are built anymore. We are either building gigantic apartment or townhouse developments with minimal to no parking, or because of the cost of permitting, the cost of the regulatory environment, the cost of land, everything else, the only way sometimes the developers say they can break even is they got to build a 2-story mega mansion. They got to build a really, really, really expensive home. So if all that's being built is really big single-family homes and a whole bunch of multifamily that a whole bunch of the population doesn't want, the price of the home that like I'm broadcasting from right now is only going to go up because they're not building any more of this. You're not seeing any more of this getting built up. And in certain neighborhoods, we're actually destroying single-family homes and things like it in favor of more affordable housing, whether the parking makes sense or not. And that's where I go to my old neighborhood of Studio City, California, in the San Fernando Valley, where a new affordable housing development is about to destroy life as you know it for people that happen to have to park on the street in Studio City, which is a lot because there's a lot of apartments that don't have enough parking. For more, here's KTLA.
Redevelopment plans for a Studio City neighborhood are drawing outrage from residents tonight who say the new plans will make parking problems worse in their community. They say the proposed residential projects will add housing without parking solutions in an already strained by parking shortage.
And this is something that we do. We tell developers they don't have to have parking minimums. They can build much higher if they, quote, do it with affordable housing next to transit stops. Whether this makes sense or not, in my opinion, doesn't make sense.
Rick Chambers live with details and reaction from frustrated residents there tonight. Rick.
Yeah, Micah, some say this was a deal that was fast-tracked by City Hall without input from anybody that lives in this neighborhood. Now, a half dozen of these businesses you see behind me, small businesses, but kind of part of the charm of living in this neighborhood, they say that they were being quickly booted out to make way for low-income housing.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. So we're talking about a little shopping center on, what is it, Whitsett and Moore Park? I've driven by that area a bazillion times. The landlord sold to a developer that's going to build a high-rise, no-parking, affordable housing machine, and it's going to make life a living hell for some of the people that live out there.
I'm very upset that we were never forewarned of this proposal.
The proposal he's referring to would transform this cluster of small businesses in Studio City into this building for Section 8 housing. And at a community meeting tonight, some of the local residents vented.
I feel terrible for all these little businesses. They've been there for many years, as long as I've lived here. And
isn't there an oyster spot right there?
And it's terrible to take away that. I think it's just the wrong location.
The location is along Moore Park at Whitsett. A 5-story, 102-unit low-income housing structure would be built. Some say that it was rammed through by City Hall.
You don't say.
I found out about it after it had already been a done deal.
Cheryl Stefanik is a longtime local resident.
I get that we need the affordable housing and everything, but my concern, once again, like with everyone else, is the parking.
Parking is already a nightmare along Moore Park, and this new building will not be providing parking for its renters.
How does that make sense, especially in the San Fernando Valley, especially in an area like Studio City, and this part of Studio City, that's not anywhere close to the metro. Oh, it's close to a bus stop? That doesn't make any damn sense.
So more vehicles will be out there fighting for space.
First of all, I was surprised. It was never brought up to us as a community, so we had no say in it.
Stephanie Pollock grew up here.
How are they able to build something with offering no parking? It doesn't make any sense.
The Oi Bar is a popular local restaurant and watering hole.
That's what it was, the Oyster Bar.
Unlike the dog groomers and the cleaners and the smoke shop that have to be out by May, Oi still has a 2-year lease.
They're going to find a way to get him out of there. They're going to make his life a living hell. And how much did the developer pay the landlord of this business development to turn it into affordable housing with no parking? They must have got a sweetheart tax cut and tax break from the city of Los Angeles for doing such a thing.
They're trying to figure out how to get us out sooner. I mean, at least.
But again, even this is built, even if you fill it up with, I don't know, Section 8 people or subsidized affordable housing or it's permanent supported housing for the homeless, whatever nonsense that means, that's not going to lower the cost of the housing that the rest of us are looking for, because people are not looking for places without parking.
They're trying to figure out how to get us out sooner. I mean, at least they're supposed to be our landlord until the end of that time and to take care of us like a landlord is supposed to.
Some of the business owners, though, are looking into any legal options they might still have, but the future is looking bleak.
Well, especially when the city's not on your side.
These are small businesses, most of them kind of making ends meet in the neighborhood and serving the community.
And now they gotta go.
They gotta go.
Yeah, one of the business owners told me tonight she has to return her keys to the landlord by the end of May. But no word on when demolition will begin after that. In Studio City, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, I'll throw it back to you in Hollywood.
Parking already sucks in Studio City. How much worse is it going to be when they tear down this business center to build a 5-story, 100-unit affordable housing building with 0 parking? And of course, the neighborhood had 0 input on it. This is not solving the affordability crisis in California. Let's go to Teddy in L.A. Teddy, hello.
Hi, I bought my home in Studio City, south of the Boulevard, for $220,000 in 1987. It is now worth, according to the person I sold it to, who gleefully said, it's worth $2.8 million now. That's the problem.
Holy cow.
Yeah. 87 to today, it's increased from 220 to that. It's unbelievable.
And it's only going to go up. Even every single thing that we're doing to solve the affordability, it's only going to go up because the kind of house that you have and the location that you have is always going to be a hot commodity, and there's less and less of it out there.
Absolutely. And it was not a small house. It was 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And, it was a bargain. Everybody told me that I bought well. But, I mean, it's insane the amount of money it's gone up to.
It's totally crazy. Thanks so much for the call, Teddy. Appreciate it. I bought in 2020 when I thought, this neighborhood's at the top of the market. It's a terrible time to buy. But we either had to buy or the place that we were renting became for sale, and we either had to buy this place, which we wanted to, or we'd have to move. And it was the middle of COVID. It was a whole thing. But we were like, sure, okay, there's no way this house is ever going to go up in value. We're at the top of the market, but let's do it. We love the house. Within escrow closing, the value of this house went up $50,000. And the only thing I can say, if we ever had any regrets, is thank goodness we bought when we did, because we locked in at 2%. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. We're trying to solve California's affordability crisis because the people in charge are not helping it one bit. 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. The state of California and local municipalities have every idea in the world to make life in California more affordable, yet everything they have done has only made it more unaffordable to live in California, to live in Los Angeles County, to live in Orange County. And some of their solutions only seem to be making life worse. Now, you think it's bad in LA County? You think it's bad in Orange County? Just wait till you hear what's going on in San Diego County as the local electeds have completely sold out to the corporatists who are buying up single-family homes and turning their lots into gigantic ADU apartments. It's pretty wild out there. We'll take your calls as well, 800-222-KABC, as we try to make California more affordable. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Let's go to the phones right now at 800-222-KABC on California's ever-worsening affordability crisis. Let's start with Sandy in Costa Mesa. Sandy, hello.
Hi, I'm here. So
Hi.
I just wanted to let you know that the reason they're doing what they're doing is because it's a goal of the United Nations Agenda 21. It's been in the works since 1992 when all the countries got together down in Rio de Janeiro and came up with a plan for the world. And they're going to be getting rid of all the single-family homes in California. They're going to rewild America by moving people off the rural properties. And it's called Agenda 21.
And what would be the point of all this?
Because the United Nations wants to be the world leading, the world's government. And they want everybody to follow their rules. And they are following them because they've put their plans into every city, county, state, school, college. And they start the kids when they're in kindergarten learning about it.
Well, it's time we fight back. That's some nonsense right there. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Helen in Torrance. Helen, hello.
Oh, good evening. Good evening, listeners of this wonderful station. Take heart. Take heart. This is a wonderful thing that's happening. The pendulum is swinging, but they have just declared the depth to which they will stoop to herd people like cattle. So that's our opportunity now to organize from county to county. Every county should pick someone who has leadership qualities, who has the guts and the interest in applying time and effort to win back our two-party system. We get the government we deserve, and we're going to get it. We're going to get a good government. What we should have is the opposition party now taking everything that these government officials are declaring they're going to do regarding housing and use that against them. They are digging their own grave by making public announcements. And so the Republican Party has an opportunity now to notate everything that's being said by these officials all up and down the state, from Sacramento down to Tijuana, and organize, and take heart. They finally showed their hand at what a one-party state will do. So the Republicans can take back, at least have a two-party system, and will do it by using the ammunition that these people have given us by their public statements. Amen.
I think you make a really strong point, Helen. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. We've had one party rule for quite some time in the state of California. Every single proposal that Gavin Newsom or Jerry Brown before him has wanted, they have gotten. Everything the California legislature has wanted, they have gotten. And even though they say affordability is their number one issue, it has only gotten less affordable to live here on every possible metric, especially housing. They say we're building, and things are getting more and more expensive. And the kind of housing that's being built is just driving people crazy. Let's go to Scott in Hollywood Hills. Scott, hello.
Randy.
Hey.
Good to be able to call in. Two things. I want to dispute the common belief that we have a housing or an affordability crisis in Los Angeles. I think more accurately, it's known more as a comfort crisis. We have plenty of affordable, whatever word that means, plenty of affordable housing in this city. It's just in very uncomfortable places in the city. Everybody wants to live north of the 10 or in nice pockets of the San Fernando Valley. But there are plenty of places south of the 10 and in pockets of the valley that are uncomfortable to live in. But those places can change with young ownership, changing the neighborhood. Yes, gentrification, which is always a good thing. I don't know why that's considered so bad. The other thing I wanted to say is, these apartments that are going up with little or no parking. This is Nithya Raman's district, District 4, Studio City, and renters are guaranteed voters for her. They're easy to organize. They're guaranteed Democratic voters, and this is why she's really pushing rental units in Los Angeles and other parts of LA, like Hugo's district and other districts. They want renters because renters are their voter base. Those are the 2 points that I wanted to make.
I think that is a really strong point, and we've definitely seen that with Nithya. That is her priority. She doesn't like single-family home ownership, and she actively is trying to destroy single-family home ownership. We saw what happened at that single-family home that she signed off on with Karen Bass's executive order to tear it down on a residential street in a cul-de-sac and put up a 7-story building of affordable housing. It's nonsense. Thanks so much for the call, Scott. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Morris in Studio City. Morris, hello.
Yeah.
Morris.
You there? Yeah, hold on. Let me call
I'm
you
here.
back. Yeah. It's interesting. I provide maintenance at the various businesses at Moore Park and Whitshead, a small shopping center, and they're tearing it down. And what the city has forgotten, they're putting up more housing development with no parking space. You're throwing a party. That's all over in Studio City. You got nowhere to park on Ventura Boulevard, Laurel Canyon. You got a young man from on a bicycle going up and down the street looking for violation on parking, the right parking tickets. He's got nothing better what to do on both sides of the street. All right, and he's doing that also in Beverly Hills, 8950 West Olympic Boulevard. They're going to tear down a 2-story shopping center now. They haven't done it yet. They're evicting the occupants. And they're going to build an 8-story high-rise apartment building with some low income. Again, where's their parking? There's no parking anywhere, and the city is out there writing more parking tickets to people in the red zones, and it's just getting worse. And why don't they kick out the illegals from here? If they kicked out the illegals and they remodeled all the housing that the illegals live in the MacArthur Park area, some of the rents would come down. And the city makes it a sanctuary city. Why doesn't the city council start loading up the illegals in their backyards, in their housing, in their own housing?
Well, there you go. Let's put them in Getty House, Morris. There's an idea right there. Karen Bass, how many illegal immigrants or homeless people are you housing in the Getty House right now? Let's fill that place up. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. More your calls, and we'll find out what's going on in San Diego. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. You think it's bad in L.A., you think it's bad in Orange County. Wait till you see what San Diego's doing with their ADU density bonus program. Here's NBC7.
We are against the corporate takeover of our communities.
Hours of comments just like that from San Diegans this week steered the city council to make an impactful vote. For the second time in as many months, council members asked the city to slam the brakes on its incentives for housing developers.
Most people agree that the ADU bonus program has been abused. Nobody wants a gigantic building overlooking their backyard.
City of San Diego has changed building a granny flat in your backyard to, hey, do you want to build an apartment building in your backyard? Sure. And are you a big real estate developer that wants to buy up a bunch of single-family housing so you can convert the backlots to apartment buildings? You go for it. Has San Diego gotten any more affordable? Hell no. More on this story next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to the phones and go to Steve in West L.A. Steve, hello.
Hi. Yes, I in my neighborhood near Robertson and National, they're tearing down 3 single-family homes in a beautiful street and building 77 units with 17 parking spaces and hardly any setbacks and hardly any trees. And they're justifying it by saying it's near the Culver City Metro Station. It's just horrible. It's going to be 5 stories.
That's awful. That neighborhood cannot handle that much more traffic, let alone that much more not parking. And on top of all that, now you're taking away single-family homes, which is only going to raise the price of single-family homes.
It's horrible. It's near a high school. There's hardly any parking anyway. And it's just, and I think it also has to fits in with the Democratic Socialist Party when they eliminated single-family homes in that proposition. In their literature, they said single-family homes were racist, and they were blaming it on something that happened in Berkeley back in when single-family home was first enacted. So it's
they totally believe that, and unfortunately, they're getting closer and closer to a majority on the LA City Council every single day. Thanks so much for the call, Steve. Appreciate it. Yes, your Nithias, your Eunices, your Isabels, and your Hugos, they do not like single-family homes. They think they are bad and racist.
The ADU bonus
Let's go back to what's going on in San Diego.
The ADU bonus program is one of several San Diego laws that council members acknowledge had good intentions but unintended consequences.
Yeah, developers could destroy single-family homes for a big old profit.
NBC7 Investigates found over the last 4 years, the city of San Diego gave hundreds of multifamily housing projects the green light without public notice.
Supporters say that's what it will take to dig ourselves out of a housing crisis. But opponents say developers are twisting affordable housing laws to build what they want, where they want, and without any way to stop it. Alexis Rivas is live in Bay Park, where neighbors say they are powerless. Alexis.
Yeah, why does the neighborhood have any say in any of this? The state already eliminated all zoning, so now it's all build, whether it makes sense or not. And again, all this building hasn't made any of it more affordable.
If you've ever visited Bay Park, you probably know this street. It's just around the corner from Bay Park Village. Restaurants, shops, bars, coffee, and you might have even parked on this street. And that's actually one of the biggest concerns neighbors say they have with what's happening here. You check out that house behind the green fence over there. It looks like a single family home. It's about to become a 4-story apartment complex with 0 parking.
Boy, it's the same story everywhere.
Seemingly overnight, blueprints are reshaping skylines from San Diego's coastline to more central suburbs like Claremont. But these aren't apartment buildings, or at least that's not how they got permitted. The city greenlit all of that construction under San Diego's ADU bonus program. Essentially, for every market price ADU, a developer can build an extra one for one, on and on. And they can do that on a plot of land meant for a single family home. Numbers from the city show that deal is too good to pass for dozens of developers.
They could take something that was zoned for a single-family home and put up an apartment building in the backyard.
In its first year, the planning department approved just 34 ADUs. Over the next 3 years, it grew by leaps and bounds. Last year, they cleared more than 1,000. But the ADU bonus program is just one out of a laundry list of sweeping incentives and exemptions the city planning department put into motion back in 2021.
There are so many tax breaks, so many tax incentives. Sometimes we're spending public money on these projects, and it is not solving the crisis.
All of them streamline building construction citywide and cut community input out.
Impossible.
So one of the other things when you hear cut red tape, sometimes it's make sure the neighborhood has no say in what you put in there.
It's impossible to be able to, as a neighbor, to know what's going on.
Bay Park homeowner Kylie Crittenden didn't know anything about the construction project next door until renters moved out and this fence went up.
Still blowing my mind that this house might be knocked down like any day now, and nobody is even required to give me a heads up. My house is like 20 feet away.
The lot on Chicago Street, a quick walk from Bay Park Village, is zoned for up to 7 units, which Kylie says would be fine. What she's not fine with is a 4-story complex with 12 apartments and 1 ADU, thanks to something called a housing density bonus.
Yeah, this is nonsense, but you either have completely incompetent members of the city council or people that are bought and paid for, as we have seen in Los Angeles, where Jose Huizar was getting bribes to build these freaking condos that nobody wanted in downtown LA.
Similar to the bonus ADU program, builders can double the number of homes any lot was originally zoned for.
That is really upsetting to me. And I don't know how to find out why, or who even said yes, or if there's anything I can say or do to argue with it.
NBC7 Investigates reached out to the city and confirmed the build is moving forward after the city waived the height limit and the need to go before a public meeting. A project like this might not have been as tempting until 2023. That's when the city of San Diego made another big change. It said housing projects within 1 mile of a trolley or bus stop don't need to build any parking.
Nothing we can do about it.
There you go. This is what's going on all over the place. The state's doing this. The local municipalities are doing it. They're saying you can build as tall as you want so the developer makes a much more return on investment, and the local governments will fill that full of subsidized housing, and we're not going to have any parking, whether that makes any sense or not. And what do you know? All the housing that is being encouraged to be built in California isn't making California more affordable. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.